Floss Tube. This is Gem Stitch here for my June update of 2017. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody that commented on my last video. Again, with all your wonderful positive comments, they're always appreciated and they mean so much. So thank you. And if I haven't got round to responding to everybody just yet, then I will inevitably do so as while this video is loading up. So I'm trying to look at the camera. So what have I been up to? Well, in June, the last part of June, we went away for the weekend. Also, I was quite busy up for a couple of days before then. So really, I haven't stitched for about, well, I picked up stitching yesterday, and that was the first time in about a week. So, but I'll show you what progress I did get done this month, and also what I'm going to be working on this month, sorry, what progress I got done last month now, because it is now the 1st of July, and what I'm going to be working on for July. So, June is Wine and Whips, which for me I chose to work on my oldest project. It was a UFO up until last year when I decided to work on it for Wine and Whips then. So for those of you, I've actually put the pattern away, completely disorganised. For those of you that remember, I didn't discuss it in my last video, but I was working on a Lavender and Lace project. This was the first project I'd actually kitted up myself. All the cross stitch, although I'd been doing cross stitch for years, all the projects that I did were kits. So I would use the fabric in the kit, I would use the thread in the kit, I would just do kits, which there's no problem, there's some beautiful kits out there. I've got one of the kits that I did is still hanging in my kitchen, like, you know. But this was the first sort of project that I thought opened up a world of, oh, you can buy a pattern and kit it up yourself. I didn't change any of the colours, and I didn't do any of that and do any alterations, no hand-dyed fabrics or anything. But it was the first time that I'd actually picked up a pattern and kitted it up myself as opposed to a kit. So there's lots of firsts in this. I did also deviate from the fabric choice that they recommended, which I can't remember now what was the fabric choice that they recommended, but I stitched it on what I believe, because I didn't make notes like I do now, because I started it I think in March 2014 and didn't make my first Floss Tube video until July 2014. So things have moved on since then. But so anyway, I haven't washed it yet, and I'm going to be picking out the vow, if you can see it. Oh, I think you can just about see it. But there is a vow in the pattern that she wears. On the camera it seems to pick it up better, but in real life, because of the fabric choice that I made, which I believe this is it's definitely a 16 count. I think it's a Rustico Aida or Oatmeal. It has like these brown flecks woven in. But like I said, sorry, I don't keep notes and I haven't got the invoice anymore, like for it, receipt. But yeah, actually in person you can't really see that vow, so I'm just going to pick it out, and after I've picked that out I'm then going to wash it, because hopefully that should minimise any holes that are left. But I got her finished. So my oldest works in progress was a UFO for a little while. Brought her out again last year for a month as a focus piece in Wine and Whips, and finished her technically last month. So that's the Bride by Lavender and Lace. There's no colour conversions. I didn't do the skin 1/1. The only thing I changed was the fabric, and as I said, it was literally the concept of even getting the threads myself, it not all coming pre-packaged. So it was the start of a wide, big journey for me. Now I'll change colours and use hand-dyed fabrics and floss and things, but that's what I love about this community, and also the knowledge that we share, and the new ideas and the resources that are out there that you wouldn't necessarily know if you go into your local craft shop, and generally all they seem to sell are kits. They don't necessarily do patterns and things. So yeah, so that is what I achieved, so I'm pleased with that. I also finished, because I have my little projects, one little project that I try and finish a month, so I haven't actually finished it into a cushion yet, but this is my little project that I finished for last month as well. This is Lammas, so this is Harvest Festival for August, so I've got this month to actually turn it into those little pillows that I do. So, and this fabric is a 27 count Linda, I believe, and I hand dyed it myself. So that's finished. So I'll get another little pillow project done for July. So let me think. I'm trying to get my thoughts in order. So I finished the bride, and like I said, I haven't really worked on much since then. My plan of action was to obviously get her washed, and I was going to get her framed and put her in my bedroom. So there's a shop in the UK called Wilko's. I'm sure there's very similar shops in other countries, kind of does a little bit of everything, and they do some reasonably priced frames, and I thought, well, I'll have a look and see if they've got anything rather than get her professionally framed. I'll do that myself. And so I went online and I had a look, and there was a range that I'd seen in there before, and they had a size that I was interested in, because this time I want to put a mount around her. So I don't mind it being close to the design if it's got a mount and then the frame in this piece. I don't want it being close to the design next to a frame as such. So anyway, I found exactly the size that I needed, and I thought, fine, I know that this shop, my local Wilko's, does that range. I'll go in there and pick it up. So yesterday I trundle off to my high street and go in there, and they had every single size frame except the one that I wanted in that range, which is just typical. I mean, it's not the end of the world, because I can order it online and have it sent to the shop, so it won't cost me delivery or anything. But it was just like, oh, just typical. And I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll have a look at the charity shops, or thrift stores, I believe you call them, in the US. So I thought I'll have a look round and see if I can find anything. And well, guys, I found lots. Some stitching related, some not so stitching related, but I thought I'd share regardless, because I've had some comments on I find it interesting what people can pick up from different countries as well, and what's available and those sort of things. And sometimes, although that can be quite frustrating, other times it's just interesting to see, you know, the sorts of stuff that's available. So nevertheless, I'm a little bit all over on this video. It's just the frame of mind that I'm in at the moment. So yes, firstly, obviously I watched Stitching by the Lake and the lovely McKenna, and there was this idea of save the cross stitch, like, you know, when you go into your thrift stores or charity shops and those sort of things, and if you see a cross stitch, you know how long that's taken, and you know how much time someone's put into that. So if you like it, then save it. And I think that's a lovely concept. Granted, I will only save things that I would want to put up in my home, because if I wouldn't want to stitch it for myself, then I'm less likely to want to put it in my home or where I'm living or whatever. So I have come across some cross stitch in the past, but it's quite cutesy. It's like the little card designs that you can get in the magazines and those sorts of things, and they don't really interest me. So I left them for someone else to buy and cherish that could be their sort of taste, but unfortunately it wasn't mine. However, I have found one piece. It's not quite cross stitch, but it is needlework. I haven't ironed it yet or washed it. They've turned it into a cushion cover, but I'm most likely going to use it as a table cloth and put like a vase or something in the middle. But this is what I've purchased. It's a lovely, it's lighter than a raw linen, but that's what it looks like in colour as the backing, and it's embroidery. And I thought that was pretty and very summery and would look nice on my table. So I thought, why not treat myself to saving the needlework? So I did. So I purchased that. So I'm pleased with that. So I'm going to give that a little bath and iron it, and I think they were very summery colours, so I'll probably use that straight away. So I'm really pleased with that purchase. Then I always look at the frames. I'm not generally interested in the pictures that are inside them. A lot of them can be landscape pictures and things that just generally as subject matter doesn't particularly interest me. I'm not saying that all landscapes don't interest me, but that sort of style. So what I'm actually interested in is the frame that it's in, because obviously you can get them on quite a good deal, and as you know, sometimes frames can be really expensive. So I always go and have a look in the picture section, and ironically, possibly, in fact, I can't think of any other time that I've done it. I actually, in one day, have bought 3 pictures because of the pictures, not because of the frame. And I'm really pleased with them. My husband actually is pleased with them. It's a bit of a funny story because, as I said, for me things have changed, and I'm not 100% sure on where I'm heading at the moment. So I've stopped work. I'm looking for work, currently looking for work, but I've got to be looking for part-time work because we're going to be moving, and we're not 100% sure when that's going to be. We haven't found a property yet that we're interested in. We haven't sold our property yet either, but it's definitely on the cards, and it's definitely a plan of action, which means kind of in a way I'm a little bit in limbo, because if I want to pick up something sort of locally, then it may not be locally forever. We may move out of the area, in which case, you know, I don't really want to settle myself into something that where I'm going to stay. It wouldn't be worth my time in travelling potentially to come back to where I'm currently living. So yeah, so it's a little bit, I'm in a little bit all over the place mode, and that's kind of probably what's coming across in my videos. So now I've gone down that rabbit trail, let's drag it back by its cotton tail and go to the point that I was trying to make, which is, yes, strangely, I've picked up 3 pictures in regards to the pictures, not the frames. But I've also picked up these pictures not knowing whether I'm actually even going to put them in the house I'm currently living in, but I picked them up in the hope that I can put them in the house that we don't even know exists yet for the property that we potentially will be living in later. Can you see where I'm going with this? A little bit all over the place, but I thought I'd share them with you. Anyway, so the first 2 pictures are actually a set. Sorry, I'm going to have to make rustly noises. So these aren't particularly needlework related, but as they was in the same shop that I bought my and rescued my embroidery piece, I thought I would show you. So without the glare. So this is the first one. Oh no, the light is terrible. And it has actually been professionally framed. This one hasn't got any damage. The other one has, but it's on the back. It has not come through the front. And what these are like lithograph prints from a French magazine, newspaper. And someone's actually added colour to them as well. So I know you can get these lithograph prints. These are actually dated 1905. 1905, both of them are. But the point is this: it has been professionally framed. Someone has had the big print done. It is quite dirty as well. The big print done, and this is how much I paid for it. £3. I paid £3 for that. So therefore I had to pay £3 for the matching one, which is here. Now, they would go with the house that I currently live in. I live in a Victorian house. They're in the UK, they're called 2 up, 2 downs. They're workers' cottages, Victorian workers' cottages. So it would, of course, go. My house was built around 1900, so it would go. The property that we move into, don't know whether it will or not, but I just couldn't leave them for that money. I thought they were lovely. I know that they're an acquired taste and not everybody's going to like them, but I just thought even if we put them in a spare room, you know, somewhere like that. But my husband actually, I thought he wouldn't like them, but he was actually quite impressed. He was saying for that money, it's just ridiculous. You have to get them, because even if we don't end up finding somewhere, then, you know, we'll give them to someone that will appreciate them, because it's just silly to leave them at that price. So my last picture that I bought is a nice colour. I didn't buy it because I like the picture. I bought it because of what it said. And I was like, how can I leave it? Okay, so it's an advert from a magazine. I'm going to try and come back and stop the glare. So it's actually been torn out of a magazine. Well, cut out of a magazine and then framed with matting. But what it actually says, let's see if I can get it here. The work and time you spend on needlework is lost unless it is displayed on furniture that has been cleaned and polished by the Cedar way. How could I not get something, even though it's actually advertising furniture polish, that mentions the word needlework? The work and time you spend on needlework is lost unless it is displayed on furniture that has been cleaned and polished by Cedar way. Good housekeeping, people, is what they're saying. Good housekeeping means that you can show all your beautiful needlework. And I just had to get it. This one, I paid more than I normally would. But, you know, I paid £10 for it. But you know what? When I think about it, for me to try and then locate this picture, this advert, then to go and buy a frame and mat it myself, is it going to cost me more than £10? Most likely. So by that point it was like, just get it, just get it. And this I'm definitely going to put up, and I'm going to put up now, because even though my husband was like, I quite like the colours in it, if we had a room that colour we could use it, but I'm going to put it up in my stitching room because I can. So, and no matter where we go, if we have a room that is this colour, then we may put it up there as a piece of art. I do quite like it. It's like retro in colour. I quite like it, or what is now retro. It's dated 1918. So, but yeah. Really unlike me, guys, I don't generally buy art or pictures like that sorry for the rustling. But it just so happens, which is probably always the way, that 3 come along, a bit like buses. They all come along at the same time. So, that was my purchases, so I hope I didn't bore you with that. 2 of them, one of them was definitely needlework related, one of them mentioned it and the other 2 wasn't related, other than the fact that I bought them in the same shop. But I thought I would share the sort of things that you can find. To be honest, I've never seen anything like that before. If I had, I would have picked it up then. It's one of those things, you know. And I haven't been into the charity shops in my local area for a long time. Sometimes that's good. You can leave things, leave it a while and sort of go in and look with fresh eyes. So, yeah, that's it really. So what will I be working on this month? So as of today, once I've set it up. It's the Stitch Mania sale, which is the patriotic sale. So I'll take this opportunity to wish everybody in the US happy Independence Day on the 4th of July, because I certainly won't be back before then. I might be on Facebook or whatever, but I won't be back before then. So, so happy Independence Day. And so obviously with the patriotic sale, I decided that I would bring out a current whip that I had already started for the History and Stitches sale, which is the Restoration Sampler. So this is based on the Monarchy Restoration, which is Charles II. And this is where I currently am after it being a focus piece for about a month. So now it's going to have another month as a focus piece. Yes, I could have probably been a bit more economical with my fabric, but because I'm still not 100% sure how I'm going to finish this, whether I am going to put it in a frame, or I thought it would just be better to do it from in the centre on this occasion. So this fabric is 32 count vintage June Belfast linen. So there are some speciality stitches in there, and there's been a small amount of Krennic. I don't know if you can see the sparkling where the crowns are. So yeah, so this will be my focus piece. For this month, for the patriotic sale. So let's just put that back. So yeah, I think that is it really. I know it's not an awful lot to talk about and to show. I will let you know how I get on. I am actually working on another project as well. It's a project that I've designed myself, and I was going to hold off till October to do it, but I kind of couldn't, so I've done it already. Well, not done it, I've started it already. But until there's more progress, I'm not going to. Maybe next time I come back and then I'll show you sort of the progress and an explanation as to my thought process with it. Sorry, computer. My thought process with it. So yeah, I believe that is everything that I wanted to talk about today. I had a finish last month, and I've my plan of action for this month, so I believe that I've said everything that I want to say, and now I'm just rambling, so I'm going to stop. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for subscribing, for the thumbs up, for commenting and always leaving such lovely comments. I would also like to have do a little shout out for Veronica, who commented on my video, and she was saying that she's been watching lots of Flosstube, and she's finally been inspired to start her own Flosstube channel. So I'm going to put the information down below. It's her name's Veronica, and it's Night Stitch, I believe, but I will put that information in the information box down below. You know what I'm like with technology, I find it quite difficult. But hi Veronica, it was lovely to hear from you, and I'm so pleased. She's made three videos already, and is progressing lovely. She's already started experimenting with some colour changes and fabric choices and stuff. So yeah, it's great to watch the enthusiasm. It's really good. So yeah, that's my shout out, and so thanks everybody. I am going to end on a slightly sombre note. I'm not going to say too much about it because it's already been mentioned on Stitch Mania and on Instagram, but unfortunately for us in the stitching community, we lost a dear member recently, and I thought from the moment I heard the news, it made, of course it made me sad, and it made me think of her family, but it also made me think when other people were commenting and saying, you know, showing some of the comments that she'd put up on their videos and some of the things she had to say, it made me also realise, and you kind of know this really as a human being, but it made me realise just how important and how powerful being kind is to other people, because that's what she was, very kind and positive and encouraging. And I just felt that that needed, as it has been, to be sort of recognised and seen, and that, you know, a lesson that we all know but sometimes need to be reminded of every now and again, of just how special and powerful kindness is. So at the end of this video I have been lighting a candle for her, and I know she enjoyed looking at all the pretty things and stuff that I and we all make, so I put her a candle for her, tribute for her, on my pretty stitching table, and think of her every time I light it, and the positive influence that she had. So yeah, so I'm just going to end it there. So rest in peace, Beverly. Good night.